Alright, what's up guys? Today is another day on the SC300, trying to get it done before the end of this month. Today I'm going to start stripping out the interior, and then Matt's going to come by a little bit later, and he's going to get the engine running again. So when I say that Matt has to get the engine running again, what I really mean is right now I have a vacuum leak, and he has to go and fix that, only because he actually took it apart to grab the fuel rail spacers out, because he had to use them on his IS just to get it running. So since the SC wasn't running or driving at the time, I just said go ahead, just go take them. He went and replaced my ones that he took out, and we went to go start it up a week ago or so, and it had a misfire from one of the lower injector seats is actually leaking. So he has to take it all, unfortunately, take it all back apart and fix what he did. But besides that, it runs. It just obviously it idles terribly just because of the vacuum leak. But I'm going to try and strip out this interior today. Hopefully I get most of it done before he even shows up, so then I can start working on some other stuff. So for the interior, I'm basically going to try and strip out, I think I'm going to leave the door panels in for now, but I'm going to try and strip out everything from like basically the dashboard back. So seats will have to come out, center console, rear seats. After that stuff is out, then I'm going to start working on the A, B, and C pillars. And then at that point, hopefully I'll have the headliner out, and then we'll just have to go from there. I really want to try and get everything out, and then try and start mocking up the hydro handbrake, where that's going to go. And then even if I get to that point, maybe even try and start mounting it. So then either later tonight, depending on how long all this takes, or maybe tomorrow if I come here, I'll start running all the hydro lines to the back to get ready for the dual caliper. Oh yeah, and then also I ordered new calipers for it through Rock Auto, which usually only takes a couple days. And of course, since I need these like ASAP, it says it's going to take like a week because they're coming out of California. When usually over here in Connecticut, we have a warehouse in, I think it's in New York, I think it is, that usually stuff comes out of, and it takes like literally 2 days to come. But of course those calipers are coming out of California, so I gotta wait a week in order for them to come. So they're gonna come like Monday or Tuesday next week. So unfortunately for everything in the back, it's pretty much on pause, besides hopefully getting the coilovers later on this week. But I have this all covered right now because I just painted the wheel well area, because if you remember last video, I said that it was all faded, and we power washed it all just to get all the mud and dirt out. So today I just went and I cleaned it all up. You can't really see because it's all dark, but it's all just gloss black now. Once this dries more, I'm gonna take this towel off. I'm gonna go do the opposite side as well. Alright, well, both those seats weigh an absolute ton. Those things, no joke, probably like 30-40 pounds each, like not even lying. So I'm gonna be super happy once I start throwing some racing seats in it. Right now, for this upcoming event, I only bought a seat bracket and seat rails for just my driver's seat. So unfortunately for now, the passenger seat, the stock ones, have to go back in. But I'm gonna throw this GT Race Pro seat in for my driver's seat. I've had it sitting around for a while. I originally bought it for the BRZ, but then I ended up picking up my buddy's 2 Sparco Evo seats. So that one's gonna go in for driver's side, and I have like the side mount rails and stuff on the way to mount this thing into the SC. But for the passenger seat, what I eventually want to do is just get either a Corbeau seat or an NRG seat and have one of the extra large ones, so it's more universal to fit, just so then I could have literally anybody fit in there. Okay, so I've got the front seats out now, center console's out, rear seat is out. The cool thing about the SCs also is that there's technically a rear firewall, because the the factory gas tank is right up in the trunk area, which is kind of odd. I've never seen another car like that before. But the gas tank is up there, so it's in the car. So you need to have even like not only just like FD spec, but like legal specs. You need to have a firewall. So that's basically the factory firewall. So I don't even need to tamper with that at all, because that's still, like, you know, all in spec. But now I can finally get the carpet out. I took the rear panels off, right here and right here. And now you can actually kind of see through. There's just this like plastic sheeting that I have to take off. The sound deadening stuff right here is actually like coming up. So that's actually pretty good for when we go to cage it. We're gonna take all the sound deadening stuff out. But what I'm seeing now is I'm probably gonna have to either buy or make kind of like a foot rest thing for right here, because this goes down really deep, and the carpet, I guess, had a lot of padding and stuff underneath it to keep it like raised up. So as you can see, like the pedals are up really high, so I feel like my feet are gonna be like floating in order to hit those pedals. So I'm gonna have to, I think there's a couple companies that make a universal, just like, I don't know, like floor plate or something. I know like the rally cars and stuff have them, so I'll be able to find something for it. And I'm just gonna try and clear the center trans tunnel as best as possible, so I can try and start mocking up where the hydro handbrake is gonna be. Probably put the driver's side seat back in, probably just like 1 or 2 bolts, and get it to a spot where it feels comfortable for me to reach the pedals and for me to shift. And then I'll try and find a good spot for the hydro to go. Alright, so I ended up putting the driver's seat back in so that I can test where I want the hydro to go. So the hydro that I'm using is the Chase Bay vertical one, and right now I have it just about in the spot that I want, so I'll be able to reach. I have the pedals in the area where I want them. I have the seat, you know, granted this isn't my racing seat, but I have the factory seat in, you know, basically seating position exactly how I want it. And so it looks like I'm able to use this threaded hole for the for like the shifter boot and stuff. So this, like, so these holes right here, and this will spin this way, but I have that one lined up, and it's actually in a good spot that it's easy to reach, to rip on it. Steering wheel's right here, rips on it, and it's in a really good spot, so I think that's where I'm going to put it. The Chase Bay hydro came with a metal plate that you could weld on as like a reinforcement plate, so I'm going to basically mark that spot out, and then I'm going to see what I can do for this lower. There's a lower, basically right here, center down, there's a kind of like a bolt hole, and obviously bolt hole right here, and then one right here. So this one's hanging off, so I'll be able to use a nut at the bottom of it. This one will just be threaded right on, so I'm just gonna have to figure out a solution for this one, and I could just weld the bracket. Alright, and Chase Bay is doing it again, making my job easier. That these holes are actually threaded, so all I really have to do is just find the spot where I want it, grind down all like the paint and stuff over here, and weld this right into place, and then all of these holes are all threaded. So that makes my job a whole lot easier of trying to figure out what I was going to do to mount this third one right here. So now I'm going to take the seat back out, I'm going to clean up that area over there and get ready to weld this in. Alright, so I got the plate welded in. It's pretty sturdy. Like the training tunnel's not even flexing, but won't know for sure until it's bolted on with all like the, you know, like the hydraulic pressure behind it to see if it actually flexes or not, to see if I need to add anything more underneath here. But it's pretty solid. So now I'm going to go put the rubber boot back on the shifter and line up this area with the rubber boot and do a test fit. What's going on, guys? So today's day 2. Yesterday I was waiting for the paint to dry on the hydro bracket, and Matt and I went out to eat instead, and then by the time we got back it was kind of like almost like 10 o'clock, so I just decided to call it a day. So we were back for the second day. We're going to finish up the whole hydro setup besides the calipers, because I'm still waiting on the stock brakes to put those brackets together. But for now, we're going to get the hydro bolted in, we're going to get all the lines run, we're going to mount the lines down in their final positions, and then basically what we'll just be waiting for is just the calipers, and then at that point we could just fill it up with fluid and we could bleed it. So right now let me just show you the kit that I bought and what's included. Alright, so this is all the stuff that gets included in that Part Shop by Max kit. So this is their universal dual caliper bracket hydro line setup. So it gives you probably, I think this is about like 4 feet, maybe 4.5 feet of this just regular steel line with the fittings on either side. And then it comes with obviously both sides of the dual caliper brake lines, so stainless lines. It has the banjo fitting on one side for the caliper, then just has a regular fitting on this side that'll then go to this T that they supply. And then this one comes right off the handbrake. I figured out a way that I think I might be able to just use only the stainless lines and just bypass the long steel line. So basically, this line will just come right off of the master, which I have yet to hook up yet. But this will just come right off of here. And then I'm hoping that the 2 stainless lines for the calipers will just fit right here. And I'll just go down through these like floor grommets or something, which will then come right out right here, because the caliper is going to be sitting right here. Alright, so my original plan of getting just this stainless line to tee off onto this didn't end up working, because for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason one of the stainless lines to the calipers is shorter than the other. So I don't really understand why they did that. I would think for a universal kit they would make both sides the same length, but they didn't end up doing that. So I'm gonna have to incorporate this steel line in it as well. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna route it underneath the car. So I just finished removing all of the factory handbrake stuff, like all the cables. So I think I'm gonna go right through this, and then we're gonna work on it underneath the car. Alright, so now I'm doing this under the car right now, and so this is what I ended up doing. That stainless line is running right from the shifter area in the tranny tunnel, and I just have it right where the factory handbrake cables went, so right there also. And then I had to loop it a couple times right here. I still need to figure out a little bit more of a final mounting for that, just so it doesn't rattle around. And then after that, I have it go up over the subframe, which I could actually just tie it right into those fuel lines right there. And then I have it teeing off right there to both stainless lines. And then that one comes up and around, and then right to the caliper, which I just mocked up just so I can make sure the length was right. And then that one right there goes right over this side, and then right over there. There's no caliper on that side yet, but plenty of slack over there too. So I think that's how I'm gonna leave it. It's out of the way, it's not gonna be caught on anything, it's not gonna get damaged by any moving parts. It's all up out of the way. And it's the easiest that I can do now, because I wish I was able to run it inside, but it's also cleaner with it being on the outside like this, just so you don't see it on the inside. But I wish I didn't really need to loop it like that. But one of my buddies has my brake flare tool, and he hasn't brought it back yet, so I can't just cut it and re-flare it. So it's gonna end up being like that. So now, unfortunately, I can't tighten any. I'm not gonna really tighten any of the fittings for the hydro system, and because I don't have the stock calipers to mount the dual caliper bracket to mount the dual caliper setup on there. So I know I sound like a broken record, because every single video I say I'm waiting on the calipers, and I'm still waiting on the calipers. So that's gonna have to wait for another day to actually finalize that system. But basically besides that, it's all set. So I'm super excited with that. It actually wasn't as difficult as I thought it was gonna be. It's not my first time installing a hydro, but first time doing it on one of these cars, so it was difficult to try and see if I wanted to do it inside or outside. The Impreza, I ended up just routing it inside, and it was much easier than trying to do it outside. So with this car, it ended up being a lot easier doing it outside, and luckily I was able to just use those the holes in the mounting brackets for the stock handbrake to just run the line all the way to the back. So that wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. But for now, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what the dual caliper is going to look like on there. I actually, just off camera, I test fit a wheel on it, and the 17-inch wheels do fit. You know, they do clear that caliper right there. If you watched one of my previous episodes, I was worried about the top of that caliper right there contacting a 17-inch wheel, which it doesn't. I just test fit, and it has probably about half an inch of clearance. So that's way more than enough. And then also that brake line, just so you see, it's going to go over. I'm going to make a bracket or something that comes off of here just to hold it so it's not just moving around. But that's going to be for the day that I finally get the calipers to finalize like the hub section of the car, just to get the calipers and stuff all set. So since I got everything all sorted out, everything's currently still all threaded on and like basically bolted into place just until I get those brakes, and I can finally just finalize the whole system, get fluid in it, and I can have Matt here help me bleed it out. So until then, I think that is a wrap on this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.